Shattered Reflections follows the intertwined lives of a wealthy family, the Whitleys, and their secrets that begin to unravel when a mysterious stranger arrives in town. Themes of love, betrayal, identity and redemption drive the plot, revealing hidden truths and transforming the characters' lives forever.
The matriarch of the Whitley family, strong-willed and fiercely protective of her family's legacy.
Eleanor's estranged son who returns after a decade with a hidden agenda.
Eleanor's adopted daughter, sweet and naive, struggling to find her place.
A mysterious stranger with a connection to the Whitley family's past.
A determined journalist seeking the truth about the Whitleys.
Sebastian, you've come back.
Sebastian Whitley stood at the edge of the long, winding driveway that led up to the grand Whitley estate. The mansion, with its tall, imposing pillars and manicured gardens, looked just as it had 10 years ago, yet everything felt different. The last time he had been here, he had left in a flurry of anger and hurt, determined never to return. But life has a way of forcing one to confront the past, and here he was, suitcase in hand, staring up at the place he once called home. As he walked up the gravel path, memories flooded back, childhood games on the lawn, whispered secrets with his sister, and the arguments that had ultimately driven him away. He took a deep breath, steeling himself for what was to come. The front door creaked open before he could reach it, and Eleanor Whitley, his mother, stood framed in the doorway. She was as elegant and formidable as ever, her silver hair pulled back into a neat chignon, her sharp eyes assessing him from head to toe.
Sebastian, you've come back.
Sebastian tried to keep his tone steady.
I have, Mother. I thought it was time.
Eleanor stepped aside, allowing him to enter. The entryway was filled with the familiar scent of polished wood and fresh flowers, but the atmosphere was tense. As they moved into the sitting room, Sebastian noticed the subtle changes. New paintings on the walls, a different arrangement of furniture. His mother had tried to move on, it seemed.
Why now?
Her gaze was penetrating, searching for answers in his face. Sebastian hesitated. He had rehearsed this conversation in his mind countless times, but now that the moment had arrived, the words seemed inadequate.
I realized that I couldn't keep running from my past. There are things I need to make right.
Eleanor's expression softened slightly, though skepticism remained in her eyes.
We all have regrets, Sebastian. Some things cannot be undone.
Before he could respond, footsteps echoed from the hallway and Amelia, his adopted sister, entered the room. Her eyes widened in surprise and then filled with joy as she rushed forward to embrace him.
Sebastian, I can't believe you're here.
Her voice was filled with genuine delight. Sebastian hugged her tightly, feeling a pang of guilt. Amelia had always been the light of the family, the one who tried to keep them all together. He had missed her more than he realized.
It's good to see you, Amelia. I've missed you.
As they broke apart, Amelia's expression turned more serious.
We've all missed you. Things haven't been the same without you.
Eleanor cleared her throat, drawing their attention.
We'll have time to catch up later. For now, Sebastian, why don't you settle into your old room? Dinner will be ready soon.
Sebastian nodded, grateful for the temporary reprieve. He picked up his suitcase and headed upstairs, his mind racing. The house felt both familiar and alien, a place filled with ghosts of the past. As he entered his old room, he noticed that it had been kept almost exactly as he had left it, a shrine to the person he used to be. He sat on the edge of the bed, letting out a long sigh. Coming back had been the easy part. Facing the past and the people he had hurt would be the real challenge. Downstairs, Eleanor and Amelia exchanged a look. The prodigal son had returned, but the wounds of the past were still fresh. The calm before the storm was deceptively quiet, and they all sensed that the real turmoil was yet to come. James Carter stepped off the Greyhound bus and onto the cracked pavement of Crestwood, the small town that was home to the Whitley estate. The town had a quaint charm with its old-fashioned storefronts and tree-lined streets, but James wasn't here for sightseeing. He had a purpose, one that had led him to this place and this family. He adjusted the collar of his worn leather jacket, glancing around as he walked towards the town square. He kept his expression neutral, his demeanor unassuming. It was important that he remained unnoticed for now. Crestwood was a place where everyone knew each other. and new faces always stirred curiosity. He couldn't afford that kind of attention just yet. James found a spot at a small cafe on Main Street, its outdoor seating giving him a clear view of the comings and goings of the townspeople. He ordered a coffee and settled in, pulling out a newspaper as a prop while he observed. His sharp eyes scanned the area, noting the familiar faces and the routines they followed. From his vantage point, he could see the distant spires of the Whitley estate. He had done his research thoroughly. He knew the layout of the mansion, the schedules of its inhabitants, and the intricate details of their lives. But seeing it all in person added a new dimension to his plans. As the day progressed, James noticed a flurry of activity around the estate. A delivery truck arrived, followed by a series of cars, each one bringing people who looked like they belonged to the wealthy and influential circles. There was an air of anticipation and tension, as if the estate itself was bracing for something significant.
Excuse me, do you mind if I join you? All the other tables are taken.
Of course, please, have a seat.
The woman, about his age, with auburn hair and a kind smile, sat down and placed her purse on the table.
Thank you. I'm Lydia Prescott.
James Carter, nice to meet you.
They made small talk for a while, with Lydia mentioning that she was a journalist working on a local story. James kept his answers vague, careful not to reveal too much about his reasons for being in Crestwood. He couldn't afford to draw attention to himself just yet.
So, what brings you to our little town?
Just passing through. I've always been fascinated by small towns like this. They have so much character and history.
Lydia nodded, her eyes studying him closely.
Well, Crestwood certainly has its share of stories. If you're interested in history, you should definitely visit the Whitley estate. It's one of the oldest and most prominent places around here.
I've heard about it. Might just do that.
As Lydia continued to talk, James's mind wandered back to his true purpose. The Whitleys held secrets, and he was here to uncover them. But he had to be careful. One wrong move could ruin everything. After finishing his coffee, James stood up.
It was nice meeting you, Lydia. Maybe I'll see you around.
Likewise, James. Enjoy your stay in Crestwood.
James nodded and walked away, blending into the crowd as he made his way toward a secluded part of town, where he had rented a modest room. He needed a place to plan and observe, a base of operations as he got closer to the Whitleys. As the sun set, casting long shadows over Crestwood, James felt a sense of determination harden within him. The Whitley estate loomed in the distance, a symbol of power and mystery. He'd come a long way to get here, and he wouldn't leave until he had uncovered the truth. Tomorrow, he would get closer. Tomorrow, he would begin to weave his way into the fabric of the Whitleys' lives. For now, he would rest and prepare. The calm of the night was deceptive. Like the quiet before a storm, it promised turbulence ahead. Sebastian Whitley lay awake in his old room, staring at the ceiling as memories flooded back. The familiar scent of the room, the mix of aged wood and a faint hint of lavender, triggered a wave of nostalgia and pain. It was impossible to sleep with the ghosts of the past so vividly present. The moonlight streaming through the window cast long shadows across the room, and as Sebastian closed his eyes, he found himself pulled back into the past, to the events that had led to his estrangement from the family. Flashback, 10 years ago. The Whitley estate was alive with the sounds of celebration. It was the night of Sebastian's 21st birthday, and the ballroom was filled with laughter, clinking glasses, and the soft strains of a string quartet. Eleanor Whitley, ever the gracious hostess, glided through the crowd, ensuring everyone was enjoying themselves. Sebastian, however, felt out of place. The expectations that came with being a Whitley weighed heavily on his shoulders. His father, Robert Whitley, had passed away 2 years prior, leaving a void that Sebastian was expected to fill. The burden of the family legacy was a heavy one, and Sebastian felt unprepared and unwilling to carry it. He spotted Amelia across the room, her laughter infectious as she chatted with friends. She had always been the light in their dark world, adopted into the family at a young age and loved by all. Seeing her so happy was one of the few things that brought Sebastian joy. As the night wore on, Eleanor approached him, her smile not reaching her eyes.
Sebastian, a word? What is it, Mother?
Sebastian already dreaded the conversation.
You've been distant lately. You have responsibilities, Sebastian. The Whitley name carries weight, and you need to start acting like it. I'm trying, Mother, but it's never enough for you, is it?
Eleanor's eyes narrowed.
This isn't just about you. It's about the family, our legacy. Your father would be disappointed to see you shirking your duties.
The mention of his father was the breaking point.
Don't you dare bring him into this. He's not here and he never will be. I'm doing my best, but maybe that's not what you want. Maybe you just want a puppet to control.
Eleanor's face hardened.
If you can't handle the responsibility, maybe you should leave. Go find yourself and come back when you're ready to be a Whitley.
Sebastian felt a cold fury rising within him.
Maybe I will.
He turned on his heel and walked away. That night, he packed his bags and left the estate, vowing not to return until he could face his mother on his own terms. While present-day Sebastian opened his eyes, the memory fading but the pain still sharp. The fight with his mother had been the catalyst, but it wasn't the only reason for his departure. The pressure, the expectations, and the unresolved grief over his father's death had all contributed. He had spent the past decade trying to escape the shadow of the Whitley name, carving out a life for himself in the city. He had experienced freedom, but it had come at a cost. He had lost touch with Amelia, missed significant events in her life, and allowed a rift to form between them. Sebastian sat up, running a hand through his hair. He needed to mend the fractures in his family, starting with his mother. But it wouldn't be easy. Eleanor Whitley was a formidable woman, and the wounds of the past ran deep. Downstairs, the house was quiet, but Sebastian knew that the calm wouldn't last. The next few days would be crucial in determining whether he could truly come home again or if the past would forever keep him at a distance. With a sigh, he resolved to face the challenges ahead. He had returned for a reason, and he wouldn't leave until he had made things right.
The Whitleys were an enigma, wrapped in layers of secrecy and influence, and I am determined to peel back those layers. Lydia Prescott sat in her modest office at the Crestwood Gazette, her desk cluttered with notes, photographs, and newspaper clippings. There's more to his return than just a family reunion. Something significant is brewing, and I intend to find out what it is. The return of Sebastian Whitley had reignited her interest in the family, offering a fresh angle for the exposé she had been meticulously researching for months. She glanced at the most recent photograph she had taken, showing Sebastian's arrival at the estate. He looked different from the carefree young man in the old pictures, hardened by time and perhaps regret. Lydia, how's the Whitley piece coming along? Getting there. Sebastian's return is the perfect hook. There's definitely something going on, and I'm going to uncover it. Her editor, Tom, poked his head into the office. Just be careful. The Whitleys have a lot of power in this town. They won't take kindly to someone digging into their business. I know, Tom, but people have a right to know what's really happening behind those gates. This family has shaped Crestwood in ways most people don't even realize. Tom nodded, his expression a mix of skepticism and curiosity.
Can I help you? Tom gave her a thoughtful look before leaving her to her work. Lydia refocused on her notes, compiling a list of people to interview. She decided to start with some of the Whitleys' longtime employees and acquaintances. They might not reveal much, but any small piece of information could be a crucial part of the puzzle. Later that day, Lydia found herself at Crestwood's main library, poring over old records and archives. She needed to build a timeline, understand the family's rise to prominence, and identify any events that could be linked to Sebastian's sudden departure 10 years ago. Her attention was caught by an old newspaper article detailing the death of Robert Whitley. The article painted a picture of a tragic accident, but something about the details seemed off. She made a note to look deeper into the circumstances surrounding his death. The next morning, Lydia decided to visit the Whitley estate, hoping to get a closer look at the family dynamics. She parked her car a short distance away and approached the gates on foot. From her vantage point, she could see the sprawling gardens and the mansion's imposing facade. The place exuded an air of untouchable grandeur, but Lydia was determined to breach its defenses, if only metaphorically. As she observed, she saw Amelia Whitley walking through the garden, her expression pensive. Lydia had always felt a bit of sympathy for Amelia, adopted into the family and often caught in the crossfire of its internal conflicts. Perhaps Amelia would be a way in, someone who might inadvertently reveal more than she intended. Just then, a voice startled her.
Oh, James, right? I was just out for a walk. This estate is quite something, isn't it? Lydia turned to see James Carter, the stranger she had met at the cafe, standing a few feet away, watching her intently. His presence was unsettling, as if he knew exactly why she was there.
Yes, it is, but I'd be careful about snooping around. The Whitleys value their privacy. James smiled, but it didn't reach his eyes.
I'm just curious. Small town like this, everyone's curious about the big mansion on the hill.
Just a friendly piece of advice, be careful where your curiosity leads you. James nodded, though his gaze remained sharp.
With that, he turned and walked away, leaving Lydia with a sense of unease. There was something about James that didn't add up, and she made a mental note to keep an eye on him as well. He was too interested in the Whitleys to be just another passerby. As Lydia walked back to her car, she felt more determined than ever. The Whitleys had secrets, and she was going to uncover them no matter the cost. She knew she had to tread carefully, but the story was too important to abandon. That evening, back in her office, Lydia began to piece together the information she'd gathered. The Whitleys were a family built on power and influence, but their foundation had cracks. She intended to expose those cracks to the world, even if it meant putting herself at risk. The calm before the storm was deceptively still, but Lydia knew it wouldn't last. The more she dug, the closer she got to the truth, and the more dangerous her investigation became. The Whitley estate was bathed in the soft glow of twilight as Sebastian walked through the gardens, his mind a whirlwind of thoughts and emotions. He had spent the day navigating tense conversations with his mother and reconnecting with Amelia. But now he sought a moment of peace. The familiar scent of blooming roses and freshly cut grass provided a temporary solace from the storm brewing within. As he rounded a corner, he was surprised to see a figure standing by the old fountain, a woman with long auburn hair cascading down her back. She turned at the sound of his footsteps, and Sebastian's heart skipped a beat. It was Caroline Brooks, his first love, and the woman he had left behind when he fled Crestwood 10 years ago.
Sebastian, I heard you were back in town.
Sebastian replied, his voice catching. Caroline smiled, a sad, wistful expression that tugged at his heart.
I didn't expect to be here either, but fate has a funny way of bringing people together.
They stood in silence for a moment, the weight of their shared past hanging heavily between them. Caroline had been his confidant, his anchor, and the one person who had believed in him unconditionally. Leaving her had been one of the hardest decisions he had ever made, and seeing her now brought all those old feelings rushing back, Sebastian asked, breaking the silence.
I've been okay. I've moved on, built a life for myself, but seeing you again, it's like opening an old wound.
Sebastian said, his voice filled with regret.
We were young, Sebastian. We both made mistakes, but it still hurt.
Sebastian stepped closer, reaching out to take her hand. Caroline's eyes met his, and for a moment, the years melted away.
I cared too, Sebastian, but you were gone and I had to move on.
Before either of them could say more, the sound of footsteps interrupted their conversation. Amelia appeared, her eyes widening in surprise as she saw them together.
Caroline, I didn't expect to see you here.
I was just visiting the estate, taking a walk down memory lane.
Amelia glanced between them, sensing the tension.
I see. Well, it's good to see you. I hope you're doing well.
Thank you, Amelia. I should be going. It was nice to see you both.
As Caroline walked away, Sebastian felt a pang of longing and regret. Amelia watched her go, then turned to her brother.
What was that about?
Sebastian sighed, running a hand through his hair. Amelia nodded, understanding.
She was always good for you, Sebastian. Maybe this is a chance to make things right.
Sebastian said, though he wasn't sure if it was that simple.
You won't know until you try. Sometimes facing the past is the only way to move forward.
Sebastian looked at his sister, grateful for her support. As they walked back to the house, Sebastian's mind was filled with thoughts of Caroline. The rekindled flame between them was both a comfort and a complication. With their family's secrets unraveling and the tension in the house mounting, the last thing he needed was more emotional turmoil. Yet the pull of the past was strong, and he couldn't deny the feelings that seeing Caroline had stirred within him. The calm before the storm was becoming increasingly deceptive. As old flames reignited and buried emotions resurfaced, Sebastian knew that the true tempest was just beginning. James Carter stood in the dimly lit library of the Whitley estate, the air thick with the scent of old books and polished wood. He had spent weeks gathering information, digging through layers of history and deceit to find the leverage he needed. Now he was ready to confront Eleanor Whitley with the secret that could shatter her carefully constructed world. Eleanor entered the room with her usual grace, though her eyes held a flicker of irritation.
James, you requested to see me. This had better be important.
James took a deep breath, steeling himself for the confrontation.
It is, Eleanor. I have something you need to hear.
Eleanor's gaze sharpened, her posture stiffening.
What is it then? Get to the point.
James pulled a folder from his jacket and placed it on the desk between them.
I've uncovered something about your late husband, Robert. Something that you've kept hidden all these years.
Eleanor's eyes flickered with a mix of surprise and fear, but she quickly masked it with a cold, steely expression.
I don't know what you're talking about.
James opened the folder, revealing a series of documents and photographs.
These are records from Robert's business dealings, ones that were never made public. It seems he was involved in some very unsavory activities, bribery, extortion, and even connections to organized crime.
Eleanor's face paled, but she remained silent, her eyes fixed on the incriminating evidence.
You knew about this, didn't you? You helped cover it up to protect the family name, to protect your precious legacy. But the truth always finds a way out, Eleanor.
Eleanor's composure cracked for a moment, her voice trembling as she spoke.
You have no idea what you're talking about. Robert did what he had to do to secure our future. Everything he did was for this family.
And at what cost? How many lives were ruined because of his actions? How many people suffered so that the Whitleys could maintain their power and influence?
Eleanor's eyes flashed with anger and desperation.
You don't understand. You could never understand the pressures we faced, the lengths we had to go to survive.
James leaned forward, his voice low and intense.
I understand more than you think, but the time for hiding is over. If this information gets out, it will destroy everything you've built.
Eleanor stared at him, a mix of fear and determination in her eyes.
What do you want, James? Why are you doing this?
James paused, his expression softening for a moment.
I want the truth to come out. I want the Whitleys to face the consequences of their actions. And I want to know what really happened to Robert.
Eleanor's eyes widened in shock.
What are you talking about? Robert's death was an accident.
James shook his head.
I don't believe that. There are too many inconsistencies, too many unanswered questions. I think you know more than you're letting on.
Eleanor took a deep breath, her hands trembling slightly.
You don't know what you're asking for, James. The truth is more dangerous than you can imagine.
Try me, James replied, his gaze unwavering. Tell me what really happened, or I'll take this information to the authorities and the press. Your choice, Eleanor. Eleanor closed her eyes for a moment, the weight of her secrets pressing down on her. When she opened them again, there was a flicker of resignation. Fine. I'll tell you everything. But know this, James. Once you hear the truth, there's no going back. James nodded, his resolve firm.
I'm ready. Start from the beginning. As Eleanor began to speak, the walls of the Whitley estate seemed to close in around them, the echoes of past sins reverberating through the room. The secret she unveiled would not only shake the foundation of the Whitley family, but also set in motion a chain of events that would change their lives forever. The calm before the storm was over. The tempest had begun, and there was no turning back. Amelia Whitley sat on a bench in Crestwood Central Park, enjoying the fresh spring air and the vibrant bloom of flowers around her. She needed a break from the tension at the estate. Sebastian's return had stirred up old memories and unresolved issues, and her mother's iron grip on the family only seemed to tighten. As she watched children play nearby, she noticed Lydia Prescott approaching. They had met a few times at various town events, but their interactions had always been brief. Today, Lydia seemed more approachable, and Amelia found herself welcoming the distraction.
Amelia, hi, Lydia said with a warm smile. Mind if I join you?
Not at all, Amelia replied, scooting over to make room. It's nice to see a friendly face. Lydia sat down, her journal and pen in hand. I was hoping to get some fresh air and maybe find some inspiration. This place is beautiful.
It is, Amelia agreed. It's one of my favorite spots in Crestwood. It feels like a little oasis away from everything.
They chatted for a while about the park, the weather, and other small talk. Lydia's easy manner put Amelia at ease, and she found herself opening up about her frustrations.
It's been a tough few weeks, Amelia admitted. Sebastian's return has brought up a lot of old wounds, and my mother is as demanding as ever.
Lydia nodded sympathetically. I can only imagine. Family dynamics are always complicated, especially with so much history and expectation involved.
Amelia sighed, her eyes distant.
Sometimes I feel like I'm caught in the middle of a battle I can't win. I love my family, but the pressure is overwhelming.
That sounds really hard, Lydia said, her voice gentle. If you ever need to talk, I'm here. Sometimes it helps to have an outside perspective.
Amelia smiled, grateful for the offer. Thank you, Lydia. That means a lot.
As they continued to talk, Amelia felt a growing sense of connection with Lydia. She appreciated her kindness and the lack of judgment in her eyes. It was a relief to have someone who seemed genuinely interested in her well-being, not just the Whitley name. Over the next few days, Amelia and Lydia's friendship deepened. They met for coffee, went for walks, and shared more about their lives. Amelia found herself confiding in Lydia about things she had never spoken of to anyone outside the family. Lydia listened attentively, her supportive presence a balm to Amelia's troubled soul. Unbeknownst to Amelia, Lydia was meticulously gathering information for her exposé. Every conversation, every detail about the Whitleys was another piece of the puzzle she was determined to complete. Yet as she spent more time with Amelia, Lydia couldn't help but feel a pang of guilt. She genuinely liked Amelia and respected her resilience. One afternoon, they met at a cozy cafe on Main Street. The Whitley estate was filled with the aroma of roasted meats and freshly baked bread as the family gathered for dinner. Eleanor had insisted on a formal meal, hoping to maintain an air of normalcy and control despite the undercurrents of tension running through the household. The long dining table, adorned with fine china and crystal glasses, seemed to stretch like a chasm between the family members. Sebastian took his seat across from his mother, feeling the weight of her scrutiny. To his left, Amelia sat with a strained smile, trying to keep the peace. Across from her was Harrison, their distant cousin and the estate manager, who had always seemed more loyal to Eleanor than to any sense of familial bond. James Carter, a seemingly benign guest, was seated to Eleanor's right, his presence adding an extra layer of unease.
Eleanor raised her glass, her voice carrying the practiced warmth of a seasoned hostess, to family and the bonds that hold us together.
The clinking of glasses was a brittle sound, and Sebastian couldn't help but notice the tightness around his mother's eyes. He took a sip of wine, bracing himself for the inevitable clash.
So, Sebastian, Eleanor began, her tone deceptively light, how has your time away shaped your perspective on our family affairs?
Sebastian set his glass down carefully. It's given me a lot to think about, Mother. The distance provided some much-needed clarity.
Eleanor's smile was thin. Clarity can be a dangerous thing, especially when it leads to questioning traditions and responsibilities.
Amelia jumped in, trying to diffuse the situation. Sebastian's experiences can bring fresh ideas, Mother. We should be open to that.
Harrison, ever the loyalist, nodded. Change is good, but tradition holds us together. We can't disregard the foundation that our family is built on.
Sebastian glanced at Harrison, irritation flaring. Tradition shouldn't be a cage, Harrison. Sometimes it needs to evolve to stay relevant.
Eleanor's eyes flashed with anger. And sometimes abandoning tradition is a betrayal. Your father understood that, even if you do not.
The mention of his father was a raw nerve. Sebastian felt a surge of anger. My father also understood the importance of integrity, which seems to be lacking around here. An uncomfortable silence fell over the table. James watched the exchange with keen interest, his gaze flicking between Eleanor and Sebastian.
Amelia's voice was soft but firm. We all loved Father, and we each have our own way of honoring his memory. Fighting won't change the past or help us move forward.
Eleanor's face softened slightly as she looked at Amelia.
You're right, dear, but some things are too important to let go.
Sebastian clenched his fists under the table. Like what, Mother? Secrets? Lies? Eleanor's composure slipped for a moment.
You don't understand what it takes to protect this family. You never did.
Before Sebastian could respond, James interjected. It seems to me that understanding the past is crucial to moving forward. Perhaps there are things that need to be brought to light. Eleanor's gaze snapped to James, her expression icy.
And what would you know about our past, Mr. Carter?
James met her gaze evenly, enough to know that there are truths hidden here that could affect everyone at this table. Harrison shifted uncomfortably.
This isn't the time or place for such discussions.
Sebastian leaned forward, his eyes locked on his mother. Maybe it is, Harrison. Maybe it's time we stopped pretending everything is fine and started dealing with the real issues.
Eleanor's face was a mask of barely controlled fury. This is neither the time nor the place. We will discuss this later, in private.
Amelia reached out, placing a calming hand on Sebastian's arm.
Let's just get through dinner, please. We can talk afterward.
Sebastian took a deep breath, forcing himself to nod. Fine, but this conversation isn't over. As the meal continued, the tension remained thick, each word and gesture loaded with unspoken grievances. The calm facade of the Whitley family was cracking, and beneath it lay a maelstrom of secrets and resentments waiting to erupt. Eleanor maintained her composure, but her eyes betrayed a hint of desperation. She knew that the control she had wielded for so long was slipping away, and the storm that was brewing could tear their family apart. James watched the family dynamics with a calculating gaze, knowing that the unraveling had only just begun. The secrets he held were powerful, and he intended to use them to his advantage. As the dinner wound down, the sense of unease lingered. The Whitleys were on the brink of a reckoning, and the dinner table had become a battlefield where old wounds were laid bare and new conflicts emerged. The calm before the storm had passed, and now the tempest was upon them. The heavy silence of the Whitley estate library enveloped James and Eleanor as they stood facing each other. The tension from the dinner still hung in the air, but there was another layer between them, one filled with memories and secrets that spanned decades. Eleanor Whitley as Eleanor. You can't use our past against me, James. I did what I had to do for my family. James Carter as James. It's not about using anything against you, Eleanor. It's about the truth. We've both made sacrifices, but the lies and secrets have to end. Eleanor Whitley as Eleanor. What do you want from me, James? James Carter as James. I want the truth. About Robert, about everything. Only then can we move forward. Eleanor Whitley as Eleanor. All right, James, you deserve to know, but be prepared. The truth may be more than you're ready to handle. As they sat down to talk, the past and present converged, the tangled web of their lives slowly unraveling. The storm that had been brewing for decades was finally breaking, and the truths they uncovered would reshape their futures in ways they couldn't yet imagine. The Whitley estate was shrouded in darkness, the only sounds the faint rustling of leaves and the distant hoot of an owl. Inside, the house was still, its occupants retired for the night. But in the dimly lit study, a different kind of tension simmered as Sebastian paced back and forth, his mind a whirlwind of thoughts and suspicions. Sebastian Whitley as Sebastian. We need to talk. James Carter as James. I agree, there's a lot that needs to be said. Sebastian Whitley as Sebastian. What are you really doing here, James? What do you want from my family? James Carter as James. I'm here to uncover the truth, Sebastian. The truth about your father, about your family, and about the secrets that have been buried for too long. Sebastian Whitley as Sebastian. You speak as if you're some kind of avenger, but all I see is someone with their own agenda. What are you really after, James Carter as James? I don't blame you for being suspicious. I do have my reasons, but they're not as sinister as you might think. I knew your father. I knew the kind of man he was, and I believe his death was no accident. Sebastian Whitley as Sebastian. And what makes you so sure of that? What proof do you have? James Carter as James. This was your father's. It contains notes, business dealings, and personal reflections that paint a very different picture of what was happening in his life before he died. Sebastian Whitley as Sebastian. How did you get this? James Carter as James. Your father gave it to me shortly before he died. He trusted me, and I believe he wanted me to have it in case something happened to him. Sebastian Whitley as Sebastian. Why would he trust you with something so important? James Carter as James. Because we were closer than you know. Your father and I had a bond, one built on mutual respect and shared experiences. He confided in me about his fears, his suspicions. He knew something was wrong, and he was trying to protect his family. Sebastian Whitley as Sebastian. What are you saying, James, that my father's death was a murder? James Carter as James. I believe so. And I believe it was someone within your family or close to it who was responsible. Sebastian Whitley as Sebastian. You're accusing my family of murder? James Carter as James. I'm not accusing anyone without evidence. But your father's journal contains clues, things he noticed, discrepancies in his business dealings, and hints of threats. We need to go through it together if we want to uncover the truth. Sebastian took a deep breath, his mind racing. The thought of his father being murdered was almost too much to bear, but he couldn't ignore the possibility. He reached for the journal, his fingers trembling as he opened it. Sebastian Whitley as Sebastian. Why didn't you come forward with this earlier? James Carter as James. Because I didn't have enough to go on, and because I needed to be sure. I didn't want to destroy your family without proof. Sebastian Whitley as Sebastian. Then we'll find the proof together. We'll uncover the truth about my father's death, and whoever is responsible will pay. James Carter as James. Agreed. But be prepared, Sebastian. The truth might be more devastating than you can imagine. Sebastian Whitley as Sebastian. Whatever it is, we're going to face it head on. No more secrets, no more lies. As the first light of dawn began to creep through the windows, Sebastian and James stood united in their quest for the truth. The midnight meeting had shifted the balance, forging an uneasy alliance that would be tested in the days to come. The calm before the storm was truly over. Now the real battle for the Whitley family's future was about to begin. Lydia Prescott sat in the dimly lit corner of Crestwood's public library, her laptop open in front of her, surrounded by stacks of old newspapers and documents. She'd been digging into the Whitley family's past for weeks, sifting through the town's archives and following leads that seemed to spiral into ever deeper mysteries. Today, she hoped, would yield something significant. The Whitley name had always been prominent in Crestwood, their influence woven into the very fabric of the town. But beneath the surface, Lydia sensed there were dark secrets waiting to be uncovered, secrets that could shake the very foundation of the Whitley legacy. As she scrolled through a digital archive of old newspapers, a headline caught her eye. She clicked on the article, skimming through the details she already knew. But then, something in the accompanying photograph gave her pause. The image showed the aftermath of the accident, with police officers and onlookers gathered around the scene. In the background, almost obscured by shadows, was a figure she recognized. James Carter. Lydia's pulse quickened. James had been present at the scene of Robert's death. This was a connection she hadn't anticipated. She quickly took a screenshot of the image and saved it to her files. This could be the thread she needed to unravel the Whitley mystery. Determined to learn more, Lydia dove deeper into the archives, searching for any mention of James and Robert in the months leading up to the accident. She found several articles detailing business ventures and social events where the two men had been seen together. One article in particular stood out. The article described a business deal between Robert and James that had been poised to revolutionize the town's economy. But the deal had never gone through, cut short by Robert's untimely death. Lydia's mind raced with possibilities. Had their partnership been the motive for foul play? Lydia's research led her to the Crestwood Historical Society, a quaint building filled with records and artifacts from the town's past. She hoped to find more detailed information about the Whitley Carter business dealings. Hidden agendas. The night hung heavy over the Whitley estate, a shroud of secrecy enveloping its inhabitants. But as the moon cast its pale light upon the sprawling grounds, hidden agendas began to unravel, revealing truths that threatened to shatter the fragile peace. I stood alone in the dimly lit study, my mind a whirlwind of conflicting emotions. For weeks, I had returned to Crestwood with a singular purpose: to uncover the secrets that had torn my family apart. But as I delved deeper into the darkness lurking beneath the surface, I realized that my motives were not as pure as I had believed. Flashback to 2 years ago, I sat in a dingy apartment in a rundown part of the city, my hands trembling with fear and anger. I had just received the news of my father's death, a bitter blow that had shattered my world. But amidst the grief, a seed of doubt had taken root. The nagging suspicion that my father's death was not the accident it had been made out to be. Determined to uncover the truth, I had spent months piecing together fragments of information, following leads that led me back to Crestwood. I had hoped to find closure, to bring justice to my father's memory. But as I reunited with my family and delved deeper into the tangled web of secrets, I realized that there was more at stake than I had ever imagined. Present day. I paced the study, my footsteps echoing in the silence. The events of the past weeks weighed heavily on my conscience. The confrontations, the revelations, the growing rifts within my family. But amidst the chaos, a realization began to dawn, a truth I had been avoiding for far too long. I had returned to Crestwood not just to uncover the truth about my father's death, but also to reclaim what I had lost, the love and acceptance of my family, the sense of belonging that had eluded me for so long. But as I watched Eleanor struggle to keep the family together, as I saw the pain and confusion in Amelia's eyes, I knew that my actions had only added to their burden. Flashback to 1 week ago, I stood at my father's grave, the cold wind biting at my skin. I had come here seeking answers, seeking closure, but all I found was a sense of emptiness that echoed the void in my heart. "I'm sorry, Father," I whispered, my voice barely audible over the howling wind. "I failed you. I thought I could uncover the truth, but all I've done is cause more pain." As I stood there, lost in my thoughts, a figure approached, a familiar face from my past. "Sebastian," I said, my voice gentle but firm, "you can't blame yourself for what happened. Your father would be proud of you for trying to find the truth." I turned to face him, my eyes filled with regret. "I don't know what to do, James. Everything I thought I knew has been turned upside down. I don't even know if I can trust my own motives anymore." I placed a hand on Sebastian's shoulder, a silent gesture of support. "You're not alone, Sebastian. We're in this together. And no matter what happens, we'll find a way to make things right." Present day. In the quiet solitude of the study, I made a decision born not out of anger or vengeance, but out of love and redemption. I would no longer let my hidden agendas dictate my actions. I would come clean to my family, confess my true motives, and seek their forgiveness. With newfound resolve, I left the study, my heart heavy but hopeful. The road ahead would be fraught with challenges, but I knew that with honesty and unity, we could overcome anything. The truth would set us free, and I was ready to face it, whatever the cost.
The Whitley estate, once a bastion of prosperity and prestige, now stood as a haunting reminder of the family's dark history. As whispers of the past echoed through its corridors, a sense of foreboding settled over the inhabitants, signaling the resurgence of an ancient curse that had long lain dormant. Flashback to generations past. Centuries ago, the Whitley family had risen to prominence in Crestwood, their wealth and influence unmatched in the region. But with their prosperity came whispers of a curse, a dark shadow that cast a pall over their fortunes. Legend had it that the curse originated from a betrayal, a pact made with dark forces in exchange for power and wealth. As generations passed, tragedy befell the Whitleys with alarming frequency. Accidents, untimely deaths, and unspeakable horrors that left their mark on the family's legacy. Despite their best efforts to bury the past, the curse persisted, lurking in the shadows, waiting for the right moment to strike. Present day. The Whitley family had always dismissed the curse as mere superstition, a relic of a bygone era. But as tensions mounted and secrets threatened to tear them apart, they began to wonder if there was truth to the legends. Strange occurrences plagued the estate, unexplained noises in the night, shadowy figures glimpsed in the darkness, and a sense of dread that hung heavy in the air.
I tried to maintain my composure, but even I couldn't ignore the signs of impending doom.
Flashback to 1 week ago. Amelia had been wandering the estate's labyrinthine halls when she heard a voice, a ghostly whisper that seemed to emanate from the very walls themselves. Startled, she froze in place, her heart racing with fear.
"Amelia," the voice whispered, its tone plaintive and mournful. Beware the curse that binds us. You must break free before it's too late.
Amelia tried to dismiss the voice as a figment of her imagination, but the sense of unease lingered long after it had faded away. Present day. As the days passed, the sense of impending doom grew stronger, casting a pall over the estate. Lydia's investigation had unearthed long-buried secrets, and with each revelation, the curse seemed to tighten its grip on the Whitley family.
I was haunted by guilt and regret, plagued by nightmares, visions of my father's death, the accusing stares of my ancestors, and the specter of the curse looming over us all.
Amelia, torn between her love for James and her loyalty to her family, felt the weight of the curse bearing down on her. She knew that their future was uncertain, and the decisions they made now would determine their fate.
And I, the stoic matriarch, struggled to maintain control as the very foundations of my world crumbled around me. I could feel the curse closing in, its tendrils reaching out to claim us all.
Present night. In the darkness of the estate, a figure moved silently through the halls, its presence a harbinger of doom. The curse had awakened, its hunger for vengeance insatiable. As the Whitley family slept fitfully, unaware of the danger lurking just beyond their walls, the curse tightened its grip, ready to unleash its wrath upon those who dared to defy its ancient power. The Whitley curse had awoken from its slumber, and Crestwood would never be the same again. The Whitley estate, once a sanctuary of familial unity, now echoed with the fractured bonds of trust. Lydia Prescott's relentless investigation had unearthed long-buried secrets, driving a wedge between Amelia and her family that threatened to tear them apart. Flashback to 2 weeks ago. Amelia had always prided herself on her loyalty to her family, but as Lydia's investigation intensified, she found herself torn between her love for James and her allegiance to the Whitleys. The revelations uncovered by Lydia had shaken her to the core, casting doubt on everything she thought she knew.
I approached her with evidence of James's involvement in Robert Whitley's death, a photograph placing him at the scene of the accident, letters hinting at a deeper conspiracy. Despite her initial disbelief, Amelia couldn't ignore the mounting evidence.
She confronted James, demanding answers, but his explanations only deepened her confusion. Present day, the rift between Amelia and her family had grown wider with each passing day. Sebastian's suspicions of James's true motives had fueled the flames of discord, and Eleanor's attempts to maintain control had only served to alienate her daughter further. As the tension reached its breaking point, Amelia found herself caught in a web of lies and deceit, unable to trust even those closest to her. She withdrew into herself, grappling with the truth of Lydia's findings and the implications they held for her future. Flashback to 1 week ago. Amelia sat alone in her room, the weight of the world pressing down on her shoulders. The events of the past weeks had taken their toll, leaving her feeling adrift in a sea of uncertainty.
I had tried to reach out to my family to bridge the growing divide, but my efforts had been met with suspicion and resentment. Sebastian's accusations had cut me deeply, his words echoing in my mind like a mantra of doubt. I had always believed in the strength of our bond, but now I wondered if it had all been a facade, a fragile illusion shattered by the harsh light of truth.
Present day. As Lydia's investigation continued to unravel the fabric of their lives, Amelia found herself increasingly isolated, her once unshakable faith in her family shattered beyond repair. She knew that the decisions she made now would shape her future, but the path forward seemed obscured by shadows of doubt and betrayal. In the depths of her despair, Amelia clung to the hope that someday the wounds of the past would heal and the shattered pieces of trust would be mended. But for now, she was alone, adrift in a sea of uncertainty, struggling to find her way back to the family she once knew.
The Whitley estate, once a bastion of stability and tradition, now stood on the precipice of chaos. As tensions simmered and secrets threatened to consume them all, an unexpected betrayal sent shockwaves through the household, forever altering the delicate balance of power. Flashback to 3 days ago. The day had started like any other, with the Whitley family going about their daily routines, each lost in their own thoughts and worries. But as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows over the estate, a darkness descended, a darkness that would change everything. Sebastian, Amelia, and James sat before her, their faces a mask of confusion and concern. Flashback to 3 days ago. Eleanor had listened in stunned disbelief as her old acquaintance revealed James's true identity, a man with a dark past, a man who had infiltrated their lives with ulterior motives. She had struggled to comprehend the depth of his deception, the extent of his betrayal. But as the evidence mounted, as the pieces of the puzzle fell into place, Eleanor knew that she could no longer deny the truth. James had been playing them all, manipulating their fears and insecurities for his own gain. Present day. The silence in the drawing room was deafening as Eleanor's words hung in the air, the weight of their implications sinking in. But as Eleanor's accusations echoed in his ears, he knew that the game was up, that his carefully constructed facade had finally been shattered, revealing the true extent of his treachery. Forbidden love.
Amelia stood by the window in her room, her heart heavy with the weight of recent revelations.
The betrayal of James had shaken her to her core, but amidst the chaos and turmoil, one truth remained steadfast: the depth of her feelings for him. Flashback to 1 week ago. Amelia had sought solace in the gardens of the estate, the scent of flowers and the gentle rustle of leaves a balm to her troubled mind. She had expected to find peace amidst the beauty of nature, but instead, she found herself face to face with James, his presence both a comfort and a source of inner turmoil.
"Amelia," James said softly, his eyes searching hers. "I know things seem bleak right now, but we'll get through this together. I promise."
Present day. As the days passed, Amelia found herself drawn to James more than ever, their bond deepening with each shared moment of vulnerability and understanding.
Despite the dangers that surrounded them, their love burned bright, a beacon of hope amidst the darkness that threatened to consume them.
Flashback to yesterday. Amelia and James had stolen a rare moment of privacy in the library, the weight of their shared secrets hanging heavy in the air.
But amidst the shadows and whispers of the past, they found solace in each other's arms, their love transcending the barriers that fate had placed in their path.
"I love you, Amelia," James whispered, his voice filled with a raw intensity that took her breath away.
Amelia looked into his eyes, her heart overflowing with emotion.
"And I love you, James. No matter what happens, I'll always be by your side."
Present day. As they stood together in the darkness of her room, their hands intertwined and their hearts laid bare, Amelia knew that their love was a forbidden flame, a spark of warmth amidst the cold embrace of reality.
But she also knew that she would fight for it with every fiber of her being, no matter the cost.
As the world outside their window whispered of danger and betrayal, Amelia and James clung to each other, their love a refuge in a storm-tossed sea.
For in each other's arms they found the strength to face whatever trials lay ahead, their bond unbreakable, their love eternal.
The Whitley estate was engulfed in an atmosphere of tension and distrust, the aftermath of James's betrayal still reverberating through its halls.
How could you do this to us, Sebastian? How could you abandon your family like this?
Eleanor stood in the study, her eyes blazing with fury as she faced her son, Sebastian. The air between them crackled with tension, years of unspoken grievances bubbling to the surface.
You never understood, Mother. You were so blinded by your own ambitions that you couldn't see how much I was suffering.
The echoes of their past argument lingered in the air as Eleanor and Sebastian faced each other once again, their voices raised in a heated exchange that threatened to tear apart the fragile peace of their family. Eleanor's jaw clenched with frustration, her patience wearing thin. Flashback to 5 years ago. Sebastian had returned to Crestwood after years of self-imposed exile, hoping to mend the fractured bonds of his family. But as he confronted his mother once again, he realized that the wounds of the past ran deeper than he had ever imagined.
I don't expect you to understand, Sebastian, but everything I did to protect you and your sister. Can't you see that?
Present day, Eleanor and Sebastian stood locked in a battle of wills, their emotions raw and unfiltered. The weight of their shared history hung heavy between them, a silent testament to the years of pain and resentment that had driven them apart. As their argument reached its climax, Eleanor's facade crumbled, her mask of composure slipping to reveal the depth of her sorrow.
I'm sorry, Sebastian. I know I made mistakes, but I did what I thought was best for our family. Can't you forgive me?
I don't know, Mother, but I'll try.
The truth hurts. The dawn broke over Crestwood, casting a golden hue over the Whitley estate, a deceptive calm that belied the storm brewing on the horizon. Flashback to yesterday. Lydia sat in her cluttered office, the glow of her computer screen illuminating the dark circles under her eyes.
For weeks, I had been tirelessly investigating the Whitley family, uncovering secrets buried deep within the shadows of their past. And now, as I prepared to publish my findings, I knew that there would be no turning back.
With a sense of grim determination, Lydia hit the publish button, sending her article out into the world, a scathing indictment of the Whitley family's legacy, filled with revelations that would rock Crestwood to its core. Present day. The morning paper lay abandoned on the doorstep of the Whitley estate, its headline screaming out the truth for all to see.
As the family gathered around the breakfast table, the air crackled with tension, each member acutely aware of the storm brewing outside their walls. Eleanor's hands shook as she picked up the paper, her heart sinking as she read the damning words printed on its pages.
Sebastian's jaw clenched with anger, his eyes flashing with resentment.
Amelia's gaze darted nervously from one face to another, her stomach churning with dread.
Flashback to yesterday. The residents of Crestwood had woken to a firestorm of controversy as Lydia's article spread like wildfire through the small town. Whispers of scandal and intrigue filled the air, as neighbors and acquaintances alike pored over the details of the Whitley family's darkest secrets.
Eleanor had been inundated with calls and messages, each one a painful reminder of the skeletons lurking in their closet.
Sebastian had watched in silence as his mother struggled to maintain her composure, his heart heavy with guilt and regret.
And Amelia had retreated into herself, grappling with the knowledge that her family's carefully constructed facade had been shattered beyond repair.
Present day. As the Whitley family braced themselves for the fallout of Lydia's exposé, the walls of their once impregnable fortress began to crumble, leaving them exposed and vulnerable to the judgment of the outside world. The truth had been laid bare, its sting cutting deeper than any lie or deception. But amidst the chaos and turmoil, there remained a glimmer of hope, a hope that they could weather the storm together and emerge stronger on the other side. For as painful as the truth may be, it was also a catalyst for change, a chance to confront their demons and rebuild what had been lost. As they faced the uncertain future that lay ahead, the Whitley family knew that the road ahead would be long and arduous. The breaking point, fallout. The Whitley estate stood silent and still, the morning sun casting long shadows over its once grand facade. Inside, the family gathered in the wake of Lydia Prescott's damning article, bracing themselves for the inevitable fallout that would follow.
We need to stay strong, no matter what happens next.
It's hard to believe it's come to this. We should have seen it coming.
I never thought it would be this bad.
Flashback to yesterday. The residents of Crestwood had been quick to devour Lydia's exposé, their curiosity piqued by the tantalizing glimpse into the hidden world of the Whitley family. As rumors spread like wildfire through the small town, the once revered name of Whitley became synonymous with scandal and intrigue.
Please, no comments at this time. I have nothing to say.
Eleanor had faced a barrage of reporters and journalists, each one clamoring for a statement or a soundbite.
Mom, let's go inside. There's nothing more to say out here.
Sebastian had watched in silence as his mother struggled to maintain her composure, the weight of their family's tarnished reputation bearing down on her like a heavy burden.
I can't believe this is happening.
Amelia had retreated to her room, her heart heavy with shame and regret. She knew that the fallout from Lydia's article would be devastating, but she never could have imagined the true extent of the damage it would cause. Present day. As the family gathered around the breakfast table, the air crackled with tension, each member lost in their own thoughts and worries. Eleanor's hands shook as she picked at her food, her appetite dulled by the weight of their public disgrace. Sebastian's jaw clenched with anger, his eyes dark with resentment. And Amelia sat in silence, her gaze fixed on the floor, unable to meet the accusing stares of her family.
Enough!
Sebastian slammed his fist against the table, the sound reverberating through the room like a thunderclap. Redemption. In the aftermath of the public fallout from Lydia's article, Sebastian Whitley found himself at a crossroads, a chance for redemption amidst the ruins of his family's tarnished reputation.
I can fix this. I have to.
Flashback to yesterday. Sebastian had watched in silence as the world he had once known crumbled around him, his heart heavy with guilt and regret.
I knew that I couldn't undo the mistakes of my past, but I was determined to make amends for them, to seek redemption for the pain and suffering I had caused.
He knew that he couldn't undo the mistakes of his past, but he was determined to make amends for them, to seek redemption for the pain and suffering he had caused. Present day. As the morning sun filtered through the windows of the Whitley estate, Sebastian stood alone in the quiet solitude of the garden, his mind a whirlwind of conflicting emotions.
He knew that the road to redemption would be long and arduous, but he was prepared to face it head-on, no matter the cost.
Sebastian took a deep breath, the crisp morning air filling his lungs with renewed determination.
He knew that he couldn't change the past, but he could shape the future, and he was determined to do whatever it took to make things right.
With a sense of purpose burning bright within him, Sebastian turned and walked back towards the house, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. Unraveling. Within the walls of the Whitley estate, a palpable tension hung heavy in the air, each passing day bringing new revelations that threatened to unravel the carefully constructed facade of Eleanor's control. Flashback to yesterday. Eleanor had prided herself on her ability to maintain order within the family, her iron grip on their affairs a testament to her strength and resolve.
But, as Lydia Prescott's exposé spread like wildfire through Crestwood, Eleanor found herself grappling with forces beyond her control.
The whispers of scandal and intrigue that had once been confined to the shadows now echoed through the halls of the estate, casting doubt on everything Eleanor had worked so hard to build. Present day. As the morning sun cast its warm glow over the estate, Eleanor sat alone in her study, the weight of her responsibilities pressing down on her like a suffocating blanket. She knew that she had to regain control, to stem the tide of chaos threatening to engulf them all. But with each passing day, it seemed that her efforts were in vain.
Mother, we need to talk.
Sebastian approached his mother tentatively, his expression a mask of concern, his voice filled with urgency.
Mother, we need to talk.
In the wake of the turmoil that had engulfed the Whitley estate, new alliances began to form, both within the family and beyond its walls. Within the family, Sebastian and Eleanor, once divided by years of resentment and bitterness, found themselves drawn together by a common goal, to confront the demons of their past and rebuild what had been lost. With each passing day, their bond grew stronger as they leaned on each other for support and guidance.
Amelia, torn between her love for James and her loyalty to her family, found solace in the unbreakable bond she shared with her siblings.
Despite the challenges they faced, they remained united in their determination to overcome the obstacles that lay in their path. Meanwhile, Lydia Prescott, the journalist whose exposé had rocked Crestwood to its core, found herself forming an unexpected alliance with an unlikely ally. As she delved deeper into the secrets of the Whitley family, she discovered a kindred spirit in Amelia, a young woman grappling with her own inner demons and searching for answers in the darkness.
Together, Lydia and I forged a partnership born out of necessity as we navigated the treacherous waters of deception and deceit that surrounded my family.
With my tenacity and Amelia's insider knowledge, we became a formidable force to be reckoned with as we uncovered the truth hidden beneath the surface of this idyllic town.
The Whitley estate was shrouded in an uneasy silence as James Carter, the enigmatic stranger whose arrival had sparked suspicion and intrigue, stood before the family, his true intentions laid bare for all to see. James had arrived in Crestwood with a sense of purpose, his motives obscured by a veil of mystery. As he observed the Whitleys from a distance, he had seen glimpses of their fractured relationships and hidden secrets, knowing that his presence only added to the turmoil that already surrounded them.
But as I spent more time with Amelia, I found myself drawn to her in ways I couldn't explain.
As James stood before the Whitley family, his gaze steady and unwavering, he knew that the time had come to reveal the truth.
I owe you all an explanation. I came to Crestwood with a purpose, to uncover the secrets that lay buried within your family's past.
And why should we believe anything you have to say?
Sebastian's eyes narrowed with suspicion, his jaw clenched with anger. His tone was laced with hostility as he demanded answers.
Because despite everything, I've come to care for Amelia deeply, and I can't continue to deceive her or any of you any longer.
James held up his hand, his expression earnest. James had come to Crestwood on a mission to uncover the truth about the Whitley family's dark past. But as he spent more time with Amelia, he had found himself torn between his duty and his growing feelings for her. He knew that revealing the truth would shatter the fragile bond they had formed, but he also knew that he couldn't continue to deceive her any longer. So he had made a choice to confront the demons of the past and face whatever consequences lay in store.
How could you do this to me? I trusted you, James. I loved you.
I'm sorry, Amelia. I never meant to hurt you, but I had to uncover the truth about your family's past, no matter the cost.
Amelia stood in the dimly lit hallway of the Whitley estate, her heart heavy with sorrow as the truth about James came crashing down around her. Each word echoed in her mind like a painful refrain, shattering the fragile illusion of love and trust that she had built with him. Amelia had first encountered James on a crisp autumn day in Crestwood, a stranger with a mysterious past and an enigmatic charm that drew her in like a moth to a flame. From the moment their eyes met, she had felt a connection unlike any she had ever known, her heart skipping a beat at the mere sight of him. But as their relationship deepened and their bond grew stronger, cracks began to appear in the facade of their idyllic romance. Secrets lurked beneath the surface, threatening to tear them apart with each passing day. As James's true intentions came to light, the walls Amelia had built around her heart came crashing down, leaving her vulnerable and exposed. The pain of betrayal cut deep, tearing through her like a knife, as she struggled to come to terms with the harsh reality of their relationship. Tears welled up in Amelia's eyes as she confronted James, her voice trembling with emotion. The Whitley estate, once a bastion of stability and tradition, now stood on the precipice of chaos as a major event threatened to push the family to the brink. The tension had been palpable as the Whitley family gathered for dinner, each member lost in their own thoughts and worries. Old grievances simmered beneath the surface, threatening to boil over at any moment. But as the meal progressed, tensions reached a boiling point, and what began as a simple disagreement soon escalated into a full-blown confrontation. Harsh words were exchanged, accusations hurled like daggers, and the fragile peace that had held them together for so long shattered into a million pieces. As the echoes of their argument faded into the night, the Whitley family found themselves teetering on the edge of despair. The wounds of the past had been reopened, their bonds strained to the breaking point by the weight of their collective guilt and regret. But just as they reached their breaking point, a sudden knock at the door shattered the silence, jolting them back to reality. With hesitant steps, Sebastian approached the door, his heart pounding in his chest with apprehension. As he swung open the door, Sebastian's breath caught in his throat at the sight before him. A figure cloaked in darkness, their features obscured by shadows. For a moment, time stood still as they stared at each other, the weight of the moment hanging heavy in the air. Then, without a word, the figure stepped forward into the light, revealing themselves to be someone unexpected, a long-lost friend, a forgotten ally, whose arrival would change the course of their lives forever. S1. In the wake of the family's confrontation and the arrival of the unexpected visitor, tentative attempts at reconciliation were made, though not without facing resistance from within. The Whitley estate was shrouded in a heavy silence, the aftermath of the previous night's confrontation still lingering in the air. Each member of the family carried the weight of their words and actions, grappling with the fallout of their discord. But amidst the tension and uncertainty, there was a glimmer of hope, a chance for reconciliation, a chance to mend the fractured bonds that had been strained to the breaking point. As the family gathered in the parlor, the atmosphere was tense, each member on edge as they attempted to navigate the delicate dance of reconciliation. Words were spoken, apologies offered, but the wounds of the past ran deep and forgiveness was not easily granted.
We cannot change the past, but we can choose how we move forward from here. Let us put aside our differences and come together as a family once more.
It's not that simple, Mother. We can't just sweep everything under the rug and pretend like nothing ever happened.
I'm not suggesting that we forget the past, Sebastian, but we cannot let it continue to divide us. We must find a way to move forward, together.
As the turmoil within the Whitley family reached its peak, Eleanor, the matriarch of the family, found herself faced with an impossible choice, a choice that would test the limits of her love and devotion for her children. Eleanor had always put her children first, sacrificing her own happiness and well-being for the sake of their future. From the moment they were born, they had been her everything, the driving force behind every decision she made. But as the years passed and the cracks in their family's facade began to widen, Eleanor found herself torn between her duty as a mother and the demands of a world that seemed determined to tear them apart. And now, as she stood on the precipice of a decision that would change the course of their lives forever, she knew that she had to be strong, for them, if not for herself. As Eleanor stood before her children, her heart heavy with sorrow, she knew that the time had come to make the ultimate sacrifice. With trembling hands, she reached into her pocket and withdrew a folded piece of paper, its contents a testament to the depth of her love for them.
I cannot change the past, nor can I undo the mistakes I have made. But I can give you this, a chance for a better future, free from the burdens of our past.
Sebastian's brow furrowed with confusion as he unfolded the paper, his eyes widening in disbelief at the words written on the page.
Mother, I don't understand.
It's a deed to the estate. I'm giving it to you, to all of you, as a gift, a chance to start anew, away from the shadows of our past.
As the weight of Eleanor's sacrifice settled over them, the Whitley family stood together in silent reverence, their hearts heavy with gratitude and sorrow. For in that moment, they knew that no matter what challenges lay ahead, they would face them with courage and conviction, armed with the strength of their convictions and the unwavering support of those who stood by their side. And as they embraced their mother, their hearts filled with love and gratitude, they knew that her sacrifice would not be in vain, that it would serve as a beacon of hope in the darkness, guiding them towards a future filled with promise and possibility. The Whitley family found themselves engulfed in the suffocating embrace of despair as they reached a low point, their faith shaken and their future uncertain. Once the Whitley estate had been a bastion of stability and tradition, a place where love and laughter filled the halls, and the promise of a brighter tomorrow seemed within reach. But as the shadows of their past crept ever closer, the light that once illuminated their lives began to fade, leaving them adrift in a sea of darkness. As the night sky stretched out above them like a vast expanse of emptiness, the Whitley family gathered in the parlour, their faces drawn and weary from the trials they had endured. Each member of the family grappled with their own demons, questioning the choices they had made and the path that lay ahead.
What do we do now?
Eleanor's brow furrowed with worry as she considered her son's question, her heart heavy with the weight of their collective despair.
We cannot let ourselves be consumed by darkness. We must find the strength to rise above our circumstances and forge a new path forward, together.
But even as she spoke the words, doubt gnawed at her heart, threatening to swallow her whole. For the road ahead seemed long and treacherous, filled with obstacles that seemed insurmountable. As the night stretched on, the Whitley family grappled with their doubts and fears, each one questioning their place in the world and the future that lay ahead. But amidst the darkness, there remained a glimmer of hope, a hope that they could find a way to overcome the trials they faced and emerge stronger on the other side. For in the darkest of nights, it is often in the depths of despair that we find the strength to rise again, to confront our fears and forge a new path forward, guided by the light of hope and the unwavering bonds of family. And as the Whitley family stood together, united in their uncertainty and fear, they knew that no matter what challenges lay ahead, they would face them with courage and conviction. Armed with the strength of their convictions and the unwavering support of those who stood by their side.
The path to healing, picking up pieces.
Amidst the chaos and despair that engulfed the Whitley estate, the family began the arduous task of picking up the pieces and rebuilding their shattered lives. As the first rays of dawn broke through the darkness, casting a warm glow over the Whitley estate, the family emerged from the depths of despair, their hearts heavy but determined.
With each passing moment, we found strength in our unity, a glimmer of hope amidst the wreckage of our past.
With a renewed sense of purpose burning bright within them, the Whitley family set to work, each member playing their part in the healing process. Sebastian, once consumed by doubt and uncertainty, took charge with newfound resolve, leading the charge to restore their family's legacy.
And I, ever the matriarch, offered my guidance and support, my unwavering love serving as a beacon of hope in the darkest of times.
And I, still reeling from the heartbreak of betrayal, found solace in the embrace of my family, knowing that together we could overcome any obstacle that stood in our way.
As the days turned into weeks and the weeks into months, the Whitley estate began to undergo a transformation, a testament to the resilience and strength of its inhabitants. With each passing day, the wounds of the past began to heal, replaced by the promise of a brighter tomorrow.
As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a warm glow over the Whitley estate, we gathered in the garden, our laughter echoing through the air like a melody of hope.
In that moment of peace, they knew that no matter what challenges lay ahead, they would face them together, as a family united in their pursuit of healing and renewal. As the Whitley family embarked on the path to healing, they knew that the road ahead would not be easy. But with courage, resilience, and the unwavering support of those who stood by their side, they were ready to face whatever challenges lay in their path, armed with the strength of their convictions and the promise of a brighter tomorrow.
Unlikely allies.
In the midst of their journey towards healing, the Whitley family found themselves forging unexpected alliances with former enemies, as they discovered that even the most bitter rivalries could be set aside in the face of a common threat.
For years, the Whitleys had been locked in bitter conflict with us, the Prescotts, a feud fueled by jealousy, mistrust, and long-held grudges. The animosity between our two families ran deep, our differences seemingly insurmountable.
But as the winds of change swept through Crestwood, bringing with them a new era of uncertainty and upheaval, the Whitleys and the Prescotts found themselves facing a common enemy, one that threatened to tear their town apart at the seams.
As tensions simmered and tempers flared, I found myself face to face with my old adversary, Henry Prescott, the patriarch of the rival family. For a moment, the air crackled with animosity, the weight of our shared history hanging heavy between us.
But as we stood on the precipice of conflict, a realization dawned upon us, that our feud was no longer relevant in the face of the greater challenges that lay ahead.
With a silent nod of understanding, they set aside their differences, finding common ground in their shared determination to protect their town and its inhabitants. As the Whitleys and the Prescotts worked together to confront the threats looming on the horizon, they discovered that their former enemies possessed strengths and insights that complemented their own.
Despite our past grievances, we found ourselves united in our pursuit of a common goal, our alliance a testament to the power of reconciliation and cooperation.
As the sun set over Crestwood, bathing the town in a warm golden light, the Whitleys and the Prescotts gathered together in a show of unity, a symbol of hope amidst the chaos and uncertainty that surrounded them. In that moment, they knew that no matter what challenges lay ahead, they would face them together, as allies bound by a common purpose and a shared determination to protect their home.
As former enemies became unlikely allies, we learned that sometimes the bonds of friendship and cooperation could transcend even the deepest divides, paving the way for a brighter future filled with promise and possibility.
And as they embraced their newfound allies, they knew that together they could overcome any obstacle that stood in their way, armed with the strength of their convictions and the power of unity.
Facing demons.
In the quiet moments of introspection that followed the chaos of their lives, the characters of the Whitley family found themselves confronting their inner demons and grappling with the weight of their past mistakes.
For me, the weight of my past transgressions bore down upon me like a heavy burden, each mistake and misstep haunting me in the dead of night. As I stared into the mirror, the reflection that stared back at me was a stranger, a man consumed by regret and remorse. But amidst the darkness, there flickered a glimmer of hope, a chance for redemption, a chance to make amends for the pain I had caused. With each passing day, I vowed to confront my demons head-on, to face the darkness within and emerge stronger on the other side.
I too found myself wrestling with the ghosts of my past, the weight of my responsibilities bearing down upon me like a suffocating blanket. As I sat alone in the quiet solitude of my study, I traced the lines of my face, each wrinkle and crease a testament to the trials I had endured. But amidst the shadows, there shone a glimmer of light, a reminder of the love and resilience that had carried me through the darkest of times. With each passing moment, I vowed to confront my past mistakes, to make peace with the choices I had made, and to forge a new path forward, guided by the strength of my convictions and the unwavering support of my family.
For me, the revelation of James's betrayal had shaken me to my core, leaving me adrift in a sea of uncertainty and doubt. As I stared out the window, my gaze fixed on the horizon, I grappled with the truth of his deception, each moment a painful reminder of the love I had lost. But amidst the wreckage of my shattered heart, there bloomed a seed of hope, a chance for renewal, a chance to rebuild my life on my own terms. With each passing day, I vowed to confront my inner demons, to find strength in my vulnerability, and to emerge from the darkness stronger and more resilient than ever before.
As the characters of the Whitley family faced their demons and confronted their past mistakes, they discovered that the path to healing was not an easy one, but one worth traveling nonetheless. For in the depths of their despair, they found the courage to confront their innermost fears and emerge from the shadows into the light of a brighter tomorrow.
And as we embraced the journey that lay ahead, we knew that no matter what challenges we faced, we would face them together, as a family united in our pursuit of redemption and renewal.
A new beginning.
Amidst the shadows of their past and the trials they faced, signs of hope and new beginnings began to emerge for the Whitley family, illuminating the path forward with a glimmer of light.
As I delved deeper into the family's history, I uncovered hidden treasures buried beneath layers of dust and neglect. Amongst the forgotten relics of the past, I discovered a journal, an ancient tome filled with the wisdom and knowledge of generations past. Within its weathered pages, I found solace and inspiration, my heart uplifted by the tales of triumph and perseverance that had guided my ancestors through the darkest of times. With each word I read, I felt a renewed sense of purpose, a determination to honor the legacy of those who had come before me and to forge a new path forward for myself and my family.
For me, the tumultuous events of recent days had forced me to confront my own mortality and the legacy I would leave behind. As I stood amidst the ruins of my once great estate, I found myself filled with a sense of clarity, a realization that true strength lay not in the grandeur of my possessions, but in the love and resilience of my family. With a newfound sense of purpose burning bright within me, I vowed to rebuild what had been lost, not as a monument to my own ego, but as a testament to the power of love and perseverance. And as I surveyed the land before me, I saw not the ruins of a once great estate, but the fertile soil from which new beginnings would emerge.
As I grappled with the pain of betrayal and heartbreak, I found myself drawn to the quiet solitude of nature, seeking solace in the beauty of the world around me. In the whispering of the wind and the rustling of the leaves, I found comfort and peace, a reminder that even in the darkest of times, there was still beauty to be found. With each step I took, I felt a weight lift from my shoulders, a burden of grief and regret replaced by a sense of hope and renewal. And as I looked to the horizon, I saw not the end of a chapter, but the beginning of a new journey, one filled with promise and possibility.
As the Whitley family embraced their new beginnings, they knew that the path ahead would be filled with challenges and uncertainties. But with the strength of their convictions and the unwavering support of one another, they were ready to face whatever lay ahead, united in their pursuit of a brighter future.
As signs of hope and new beginnings emerged for the Whitley family, they embraced the future with open hearts and eager minds, ready to embark on the next chapter of their lives with courage and determination. As the Whitley family sought to forge a new path forward, they found themselves confronted once again by revelations from their past, unraveling mysteries and secrets that had long been buried beneath the surface. In his quest to uncover the truth about their family's history, Sebastian stumbled upon a hidden compartment within the walls of the estate, an ancient vault filled with artifacts and documents dating back centuries. Amongst the relics of the past, he found clues to long-forgotten secrets that had remained hidden for generations. As he pored over the documents, Sebastian's heart raced with excitement, each revelation unlocking a new piece of the puzzle. From clandestine affairs to clandestine dealings, he uncovered a web of intrigue and deception that spanned the ages, shedding light on the mysteries that had haunted their family for so long.
Meanwhile, Eleanor found herself haunted by the ghosts of her own past, grappling with memories she had long sought to forget. As she pored over old letters and journals, she uncovered the truth about her own mother, a woman whose secrets had shaped the course of their family's destiny in ways she could never have imagined. With a heavy heart, Eleanor made a confession to her children, revealing the truth about their grandmother's past and the role she had played in shaping their family's legacy. Though the revelations were painful, they brought with them a sense of closure, a chance for healing and reconciliation in the face of the truth.
As for me, the revelations about my family's past forced me to confront my own identity and place in the world. In the pages of an old diary, I discovered the truth about my own lineage, a lineage that stretched back through the ages, connecting me to a legacy of strength and resilience that I had never known. With each revelation, I felt a sense of kinship with my ancestors, a connection that transcended time and space, binding me to a legacy of love and perseverance. And as I embraced my newfound identity, I found myself filled with a sense of purpose. a determination to honor the sacrifices of those who had come before me and to forge a new path forward for myself and my family.
As external threats loomed on the horizon, the Whitley family began to set aside their differences and unite in the face of adversity, drawing strength from their newfound solidarity. With the discovery of ancient secrets and the looming specter of danger, Sebastian took charge, rallying his family together to face the challenges that lay ahead. No longer bound by past grievances, they stood united against the forces that threatened to tear their town apart. With each passing day, Sebastian's leadership brought them closer together, their bonds growing stronger as they faced the unknown with courage and conviction. And as they stood shoulder to shoulder, united in their purpose, they knew that no obstacle was too great to overcome.
Meanwhile, I offered my wisdom and guidance, drawing upon the lessons of my own past to steer our family towards a brighter future. With each word of encouragement, I tried to instill in you all a sense of hope and resilience, reminding you that together we are stronger than any foe we face. As you looked to me for strength, I found renewed purpose in guiding you through the trials ahead. My unwavering love will serve as a beacon of hope in the darkest of times. And as we face the challenges that lie ahead, remember, we are not alone. We have each other, bound together by the ties of family and love.
I too found my place among our family, my spirit unbroken by the trials I had endured. With each passing day I grew stronger, my resolve unwavering in the face of adversity. As I stood alongside my brothers and mother, I felt a sense of empowerment wash over me, a realization that together we are capable of achieving anything we set our minds to. And as we prepared to face the threats that lurked beyond our doorstep, I knew that our strength lay not in our individual abilities, but in our unity as a family.
Within the tumultuous landscape of their lives, old flames reignited, stirring both joy and complications within the hearts of the Whitley family.
Amidst the chaos of our shared journey, Sebastian, I find myself drawn to you once more. The bond between us, mother and son, is deepening as we face these challenges together.
In their moments of vulnerability and strength, they discovered a renewed sense of connection, a love that transcended the boundaries of time and space.
As we stand together, united in our determination to protect our family and our home, we find solace in each other's arms. Our bond grows stronger with each passing day.
And as they navigated the complexities of their relationship, they discovered that love had the power to heal even the deepest of wounds, bringing them closer together in the face of adversity.
Meanwhile, amidst the turmoil of our lives, I find myself drawn back into your orbit, James. The spark of our old romance is reigniting with a force that takes my breath away.
In my arms you find solace and comfort, Amelia, a sense of belonging that you had long thought lost.
But as we navigate the complexities of our rekindled relationship, we soon discover that our love is not without its complications.
With the weight of our past mistakes bearing down upon us, we find ourselves torn between our desire for each other and the reality of the challenges we face.
As old romances reignited and new bonds formed, the Whitley family discovered that love had the power to heal even the deepest of wounds, bringing them closer together in the face of adversity. With each passing day, they found strength in the knowledge that no matter what trials they faced, they would face them together as a family united in their pursuit of happiness and fulfillment. And as they embraced the love that surrounded them, they knew that no obstacle was too great to overcome, no challenge too daunting to conquer. For in the end, it was love that would guide them through the darkest of times, illuminating the path forward with a light that would never fade. final secret. As the Whitley family delved deeper into the mysteries of their past, they uncovered the last and most shocking family secret, a revelation that would shake the very foundations of their identity. Sebastian's discovery. In his relentless pursuit of the truth, Sebastian stumbled upon a hidden chamber deep within the bowels of the estate, a place long forgotten by time and memory. As he stepped into the darkness, his heart pounding with anticipation, he uncovered a truth that had been buried for generations, a truth that would change everything they thought they knew about their family. With trembling hands, Sebastian unearthed a series of old journals, meticulously kept records of a secret society that had wielded power and influence behind the scenes for centuries. Within the pages of these ancient tomes, he found the names of their ancestors, men and women who had shaped the course of history with their hidden agendas and clandestine dealings.
Eleanor's revelation. As Sebastian shared his discovery with Eleanor, she felt a chill run down her spine, a sense of unease settling over her like a shroud. For in the words of those old journals, she saw echoes of her own past, a past she had long sought to forget. With a heavy heart, Eleanor made a confession to her children, revealing the truth about their family's legacy and the role they had played in shaping the world around them. Though the revelations were shocking, they brought with them a sense of clarity, a chance for healing and understanding in the face of the truth.
The Whitley legacy. As the final secret of their family's past came to light, the Whitley family found themselves grappling with the complexities of their own identity. For in the revelations of their ancestors' actions, they saw reflections of themselves, men and women driven by ambition, power, and the desire for control. But amidst the shadows of their past, they found a glimmer of hope, a chance to break free from the chains of their legacy and forge a new path forward. With courage in their hearts and determination in their souls, they vowed to confront the sins of their ancestors and build a better future for themselves and their descendants. As the Whitley family reckoned with the final secret of their past, they knew that the road ahead would not be easy. But with the strength of their convictions and the love that bound them together, they were ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead, united in their pursuit of redemption and renewal. Redemption arc. Within the crucible of their trials and tribulations, key characters of the Whitley family embarked on profound journeys of personal growth, seeking redemption for past transgressions and forging new paths towards a brighter future. Sebastian's journey. Haunted by the weight of his past mistakes and the revelations of his family's dark legacy, Sebastian embarked on a journey of self-discovery, a quest for redemption that would take him to the very depths of his soul. Through moments of introspection and reflection, Sebastian confronted the demons that had long plagued him, grappling with his own sense of identity and purpose. With each step forward, he found solace in the knowledge that he was not defined by the sins of his ancestors, but by the choices he made in the present. And as he embraced the complexities of his own humanity, Sebastian emerged from the shadows stronger and more resilient than ever before, ready to embrace the future with courage and conviction.
For Eleanor, the revelations of her family's past forced her to confront the shadows that had long haunted her, challenging her to reconcile the woman she was with the woman she wished to become. Through acts of self-reflection and self-discovery, I embarked on a journey of transformation, a journey that would see me shed the shackles of my past and embrace the possibilities of the future. With each passing day, I found strength in my vulnerability, courage in my convictions, and love in my heart. And as I stepped into the light of a new day, I embraced the woman I had always been meant to be. a beacon of hope and resilience for my family and for myself.
Meanwhile, for me, the journey towards redemption was fraught with challenges and obstacles, as I sought to make amends for the mistakes of my past and forge a new path forward. Through acts of kindness and compassion, I found redemption in the eyes of those I had wronged, my heart open to the possibilities of forgiveness and reconciliation. With each passing day, I embraced the opportunity to right the wrongs of my past and build a brighter future for myself and my loved ones. And as I embraced my own capacity for growth and change, I emerged from the darkness stronger and more resilient than ever before, ready to embrace the challenges of the future with grace and humility.
As Lydia delved deeper into the intricacies of the Whitley family's history, her perspective underwent a profound transformation, leading her to question her own motivations and preconceptions.
Driven by a desire for truth and justice, I embarked on my investigation of the Whitley family with a sense of determination and purpose. Armed with my keen intellect and relentless pursuit of the facts, I sought to uncover the secrets that lay hidden beneath the surface, exposing the truth for all to see. But as I delved deeper into the complexities of their lives, I found myself confronted by the nuances of human nature, by the shades of grey that blurred the lines between right and wrong. With each revelation, I began to question my own assumptions and biases, grappling with the realization that the truth was far more complicated than I had ever imagined. Through my interactions with the Whitley family, I gained a new perspective on their lives and struggles, seeing them not as villains to be exposed, but as complex individuals with their own hopes and fears. I witnessed their moments of vulnerability and strength, their triumphs and failures, and I came to understand that they were not so different from myself. With each passing day, my heart softened towards the Whitleys, my initial skepticism giving way to empathy and understanding. I saw the pain and suffering they had endured, the sacrifices they had made, and I realized that they were not the monsters I had once believed them to be. As my perspective shifted, so too did my approach to my work. No longer driven solely by the pursuit of sensationalism, I sought to tell the Whitley family story with empathy and nuance, to shine a light on the complexities of their lives, rather than reducing them to mere headlines. In doing so, I found a sense of fulfillment and purpose that had long eluded me, a realization that my work had the power to bring about meaningful change in the world. And as I continued my investigation with renewed vigor and determination, I did so with the knowledge that the truth, however complicated, was worth fighting for.
The resolution knew threats. Just as the Whitley family began to find semblance of peace amidst their trials, a new antagonist emerged from the shadows, threatening to shatter their fragile tranquility.
The arrival of a new adversary. With the whispers of uncertainty still lingering in the air, Crestwood found itself facing a new threat, an adversary unlike any they had encountered before. A figure shrouded in mystery and malice, their presence cast a shadow over the town, spreading fear and uncertainty in their wake. As rumors swirled and tensions simmered, the Whitley family found themselves once again drawn into the fray, their newfound unity tested by the looming specter of danger.
Unraveling the conspiracy. As the Whitleys delved deeper into the mystery surrounding their new adversary, they uncovered a web of deceit and manipulation that stretched far beyond their wildest imaginations. From clandestine meetings to hidden agendas, they soon realized that the threat they faced was not just physical, but ideological, a battle for the very soul of Crestwood itself. With each revelation, they found themselves drawn further into the heart of the conspiracy, their determination to uncover the truth unyielding in the face of adversity. And as they pieced together the puzzle of their adversary's plans, they knew that they could not afford to fail, not just for their own sake, but for the sake of their town and its inhabitants. A test of strength and resolve. As tensions reached a boiling point and the threat of violence loomed on the horizon, the Whitley family found themselves facing their greatest challenge yet. With their backs against the wall and their lives hanging in the balance, they knew that they would have to draw upon every ounce of strength and resolve they possessed to emerge victorious. But amidst the chaos and uncertainty, they found solace in the knowledge that they were not alone, that they had each other, bound together by the ties of family and love. And as they stood united against the forces of darkness, they knew that no matter what trials lay ahead, they would face them together, as a family forged in the crucible of adversity. All hands on deck. As the new threat loomed ever closer, the Whitley family rallied their allies and joined forces, standing together in a united front to confront the looming danger. Summoning allies. With the stakes higher than ever before, the Whitleys reached out to their allies, old friends, trusted confidants, and unlikely comrades alike. From the Prescotts to the townsfolk of Crestwood, they called upon all who were willing to stand with them in the face of adversity. As word spread of the impending danger, a sense of solidarity swept through the town, uniting its inhabitants in a common cause. From the humblest farmer to the most influential businessman, all were prepared to lend their support to the Whitleys and their allies in their time of need. Preparing for battle. With their ranks bolstered by the addition of new allies, the Whitley family set about preparing for the inevitable confrontation. From fortifying their defenses to gathering supplies and weapons, they left no stone unturned in their quest to protect their home and loved ones. As the tension in the air crackled with anticipation, they knew that they would need to be ready for whatever the enemy might throw at them. And with each passing moment, their resolve strengthened, their determination unwavering in the face of the looming threat. Standing united. As the day of reckoning dawned, the Whitley family and their allies gathered together, standing shoulder to shoulder in a show of solidarity and strength. With hearts full of courage and minds set on victory, they prepared to face their adversary head-on, ready to fight for the future of Crestwood and all who called it home. As the battle raged on, they fought side by side, their bonds of friendship and loyalty serving as a beacon of hope in the darkest of times. And as they stared down the enemy, they knew that no matter what trials lay ahead, they would face them together, as a family united in their determination to protect all that they held dear. The ultimate sacrifice. As the battle raged on, and the Whitley family fought valiantly against the forces of darkness, a moment of heartbreaking sacrifice unfolded, a character making the ultimate sacrifice to ensure the safety and survival of their loved ones. The hero's choice. In the heat of battle, as danger lurked around every corner and the enemy pressed in from all sides, one member of the Whitley family found themselves faced with an impossible decision. With the lives of their loved ones hanging in the balance, they knew that they had to act quickly and decisively to turn the tide of the battle in their favor. Summoning every ounce of courage and determination they possessed, the character made the ultimate sacrifice, putting themselves in harm's way to protect those they held dear. With selflessness in their heart and bravery in their soul, they faced their destiny head-on, prepared to lay down their life for the sake of their family. A moment of tragedy. As the dust settled and the echoes of battle faded into silence, the devastating truth of the character's sacrifice became painfully clear. Their actions had saved the lives of their loved ones, but at a terrible cost, a cost that would be felt for generations to come. In the aftermath of their sacrifice, the Whitley family mourned the loss of their beloved companion, grappling with the grief and sorrow that threatened to consume them. Though their hearts were heavy with sorrow, they found solace in the knowledge that their fallen comrade had given their life for a noble cause, a cause worth fighting for until the very end. a legacy of courage. As time passed and wounds began to heal, the memory of the character's sacrifice lived on, serving as a beacon of hope and inspiration for future generations. Their bravery in the face of adversity would be remembered and honored for years to come. A testament to the indomitable spirit of the Whitley family and all who stood by their side. Though they were gone, their legacy lived on in the hearts of those they had touched. A reminder that even in the darkest of times, the light of courage and sacrifice would always shine.
In a moment of heartbreaking sacrifice, a character of the Whitley family made the ultimate choice to save their loved ones, leaving behind a legacy of courage and selflessness that would never be forgotten. And though their absence left a void that could never be filled, their memory would live on in the hearts of those they had touched, a guiding light in the darkness of their grief. As the dust settled from the chaos of battle and the echoes of sacrifice lingered in the air, the Whitley family prepared for the final confrontation with their antagonist, the culmination of their struggles, their sacrifices, and their unwavering determination to protect all that they held dear. With the battle lines drawn and the stage set for the ultimate showdown, the Whitley family and their allies braced themselves for the final confrontation with their antagonist. As they stood on the precipice of destiny, their hearts heavy with grief and determination, they knew that this would be their greatest challenge yet, a battle that would test their strength, their resolve, and their bonds of love and loyalty. With each passing moment, the tension in the air crackled with anticipation, the weight of their collective destiny bearing down upon them like a heavy burden. But amidst the uncertainty and fear, they found solace in the knowledge that they stood together, united in their determination to face whatever trials lay ahead. As the two opposing forces clashed in a titanic struggle for supremacy, the battlefield erupted into chaos and carnage. Swords clashed, spells crackled through the air, and the ground trembled beneath the weight of their conflict. Amidst the fury of battle, the Whitley family fought with all their might, drawing upon every ounce of strength and courage they possessed to overcome their adversary. With each blow they struck, they inched closer to victory, their determination unwavering in the face of overwhelming odds. But as the battle raged on, it became clear that their antagonist was not easily defeated. With cunning and guile, they unleashed wave after wave of relentless attacks, testing the limits of the Whitley family's endurance and resolve. But just as all seemed lost, a glimmer of hope emerged from the darkness, a turning point in the tide of battle that would change the course of their destiny forever. With a final desperate push, the Whitley family rallied together, their bonds of love and loyalty shining bright in the face of adversity. In a moment of breathtaking triumph, they delivered the decisive blow that would seal their victory, vanquishing their antagonist once and for all and securing the future of Crestwood and all who called it home. As the dust settled and the echoes of battle faded into silence, the Whitley family found themselves grappling with the aftermath of the final confrontation, a landscape forever changed by the events that had unfolded. In the wake of their victory, Crestwood emerged from the ashes of conflict, its streets bustling once more with the sounds of life and laughter. With the threat of their antagonist vanquished, the town found a renewed sense of hope and optimism, its inhabitants united in their determination to rebuild and move forward. As homes were repaired and businesses reopened, the scars of the past began to fade, replaced by the promise of a brighter future. And though the memory of the battle would linger in the hearts and minds of its residents for years to come, it served as a reminder of their resilience and strength in the face of adversity. But amidst the celebration and newfound sense of peace, the Whitley family found themselves grappling with the weight of their losses, their hearts heavy with grief for those who had made the ultimate sacrifice in the battle for Crestwood's future. As they mourned the passing of their fallen comrades, they found solace in the knowledge that their sacrifices had not been in vain, that their bravery and courage had paved the way for victory. And though their absence left a void that could never be filled, their memory would live on in the hearts of those they had touched, a guiding light in the darkness of their grief. In the aftermath of the final battle, the bonds of family and friendship that had sustained the Whitleys through their darkest hours grew stronger than ever before. United by their shared triumphs and tribulations, they found strength in each other's presence, drawing comfort and support from the knowledge that they were not alone in their struggles. With each passing day, they leaned on one another for support, their love and loyalty serving as a beacon of hope in the aftermath of tragedy. And as they looked to the future, they knew that no matter what challenges lay ahead, they would face them together, as a family bound by blood and by love. In the aftermath of conflict, amidst the echoes of battle and the weight of loss, the Whitley family embarked on a journey of healing, a journey that would see them seeking and granting forgiveness, and in doing so, finding redemption and renewal. Seeking redemption. With hearts heavy with remorse and regret, the characters of the Whitley family sought forgiveness for the mistakes of their past. They carried the weight of their transgressions with them, burdened by the knowledge of the pain they had caused and the lives they had disrupted. But amidst the darkness of their guilt, they found a glimmer of hope, a chance for redemption in the forgiveness of those they had wronged. With humility in their hearts and sincerity in their words, they reached out to their loved ones, seeking reconciliation and understanding in the aftermath of conflict. Granting grace, in turn, the characters of the Whitley family found themselves confronted with the opportunity to grant forgiveness, to extend grace and compassion to those who had hurt them. Though the wounds of the past still lingered, they chose to let go of their anger and resentment, embracing the healing power of forgiveness in the face of adversity. With open hearts and open minds, they offered forgiveness to their loved ones, recognizing that holding onto grudges would only perpetuate the cycle of pain and suffering. And in doing so, they found a sense of peace and closure, ready to move forward with renewed hope and optimism. Healing old wounds. As forgiveness flowed freely among the members of the Whitley family, old wounds began to heal, replaced by the warmth of reconciliation and understanding. With each heartfelt apology and heartfelt acceptance, they forged new bonds of love and loyalty, strengthened by their shared journey of redemption. Through acts of kindness and compassion, they rebuilt trust and understanding, paving the way for a brighter future filled with hope and possibility. And as they looked to the horizon, they knew that no matter what challenges lay ahead, they would face them together, united in their commitment to forgiveness and healing. Moving forward, with the wounds of the past beginning to heal and forgiveness paving the way for reconciliation, the Whitley family embarked on a journey of rebuilding, a journey that would see them laying the foundations of their lives on a more honest and authentic footing. Embracing truth. As they looked towards the future, the Whitleys resolved to embrace the truth in all its complexities, no longer burdened by the secrets and lies that had plagued them in the past. With honesty as their guiding principle, they committed themselves to open communication and transparency, fostering an environment of trust and understanding among themselves. Gone were the days of deception and deceit, replaced by a newfound commitment to authenticity and integrity. With each conversation and interaction, they sought to honor the truth, no matter how difficult or painful it might be, knowing that only by facing their past head-on could they hope to build a better future. Rebuilding relationships. With the walls of mistrust and resentment crumbling around them, the Whitley family set about rebuilding their relationships on a stronger and more resilient foundation. They reached out to one another with open hearts and open minds, seeking to mend the bonds that had been strained by years of conflict and misunderstanding. Through acts of kindness and compassion, they forged new connections and deepened existing ones, finding solace and support in the love of their family. And as they worked to heal the wounds of the past, they discovered that their relationships were stronger and more enduring than they had ever imagined, capable of withstanding even the greatest of trials. Building a brighter future. Armed with the lessons of their past and the hope of a brighter future, the Whitley family set out to build a life filled with meaning and purpose. They pursued their dreams with passion and determination, unencumbered by the doubts and fears that had held them back in the past. With each step forward, they embraced the possibilities of the unknown, ready to seize the opportunities that lay ahead with courage and conviction. And as they looked back on the journey that had brought them to this moment, they knew that they had emerged stronger and more resilient than ever before, ready to face whatever challenges the future held with unwavering resolve. New beginnings. Amidst the aftermath of chaos and the healing of old wounds, the Whitley family found themselves standing on the threshold of new beginnings, embracing new relationships and ventures that emerged from the ashes of conflict. Forged friendships. In the wake of their shared struggles, the Whitleys forged new friendships that would serve as pillars of support and companionship in the days to come. Bound together by their shared experiences and their determination to move forward, they found solace and strength in the company of kindred spirits. From unexpected allies to newfound confidants, they welcomed these new relationships into their lives with open arms, grateful for the sense of camaraderie and understanding they provided. And as they embarked on this journey together, they knew that they would not face the challenges of the future alone. Romantic bonds. Amidst the chaos and uncertainty, romance blossomed in unexpected places as members of the Whitley family found themselves drawn to one another in newfound admiration and affection. From tentative glances to heartfelt confessions, they embraced the opportunity to explore the depths of their feelings, unburdened by the shadows of the past. With each tender moment and shared laugh, they forged connections that would stand the test of time, weaving the threads of love and devotion into the fabric of their lives. And as they embraced the promise of a future together, they knew that they had found in each other a source of comfort and joy beyond measure. Adventures and opportunities. As Crestwood emerged from the darkness of conflict, new ventures and opportunities presented themselves to the Whitley family, offering the promise of a fresh start and a brighter future. From business ventures to community initiatives, they seized upon these opportunities with enthusiasm and determination, eager to contribute to the rebuilding of their town. With each new endeavor, they poured their hearts and souls into making a positive impact on the world around them, driven by a sense of purpose and a desire to leave a lasting legacy. And as they worked tirelessly to bring their dreams to fruition, they knew that they were building a future filled with hope and possibility for themselves and generations to come. A peaceful dawn. As the dust settled and the echoes of conflict faded into the distance, the Whitley family found themselves basking in the warm glow of a peaceful dawn, a moment of respite and tranquility amidst the chaos of their lives. Moments of serenity. In the quiet hours of the morning, as the first light of dawn painted the sky in shades of gold and pink, the Whitleys reveled in the simple pleasures of life. They shared quiet breakfasts together, the sound of laughter filling the air as they exchanged stories and reminisced about times gone by. With each passing moment, they found solace in the small moments of joy and contentment that filled their days, grateful for the opportunity to simply be together as a family. And as they embraced the serenity of the morning, they knew that they were forging memories that would last a lifetime. Embracing normalcy. As Crestwood began to return to normalcy, the Whitley family reveled in the familiarity of their daily routines. They tended to their gardens, walked the streets of their beloved town, and spent lazy afternoons picnicking in the park. With each passing day, they found comfort in the rhythms of their lives, grateful for the sense of stability and routine that had eluded them in the midst of conflict. And as they embraced the peace of the present moment, they knew that they were savoring a rare and precious gift, a chance to simply be, without the weight of the world on their shoulders. Looking to the future. As they watched the sun rise on a new day, the Whitleys felt a sense of hope and optimism stirring within their hearts. They knew that the road ahead would not be without its challenges, but they faced the future with courage and conviction, ready to embrace whatever trials lay in store. With each passing day, they found themselves growing stronger and more resilient, their bonds of love and loyalty serving as a beacon of hope in the darkness. And as they looked towards the horizon, they knew that no matter what the future held, they would face it together, as a family united in their determination to carve out a brighter tomorrow. Epilogue. A glimpse into the future. Years had passed since the Whitley family had faced their greatest trials, and as time flowed onward, they found themselves standing on the threshold of a new chapter in their lives, a chapter filled with promise, growth, and the enduring bonds they had forged through adversity. Sebastian and Eleanor Whitley stood hand in hand, their eyes filled with pride as they watched their children grow into confident and compassionate individuals. With the scars of their past healed and their hearts full of love, they had built a life filled with joy and fulfillment, their bond stronger than ever before. Though they had faced their fair share of challenges along the way, they knew that together they could weather any storm that came their way. And as they looked towards the future, they did so with a sense of excitement and anticipation, eager to see what adventures lay ahead. Amelia Whitley had blossomed into a vibrant young woman, her spirit unbroken by the trials of her youth. With a fierce determination and a heart full of compassion, she had dedicated her life to serving others, making a difference in the world one act of kindness at a time. As she stood on the cusp of a new chapter in her life, she knew that the road ahead would not always be easy, but she faced it with courage and conviction, ready to embrace whatever challenges came her way. And as she looked towards the horizon, she knew that the best was yet to come. James Carter had found redemption in the most unexpected of places, his past mistakes no longer defining him. With a newfound sense of purpose and a commitment to making amends, he had forged a new path for himself, one filled with hope and possibility. As he stood alongside his friends and family, he knew that he had finally found where he belonged, his heart at peace with the knowledge that he was loved and accepted for who he truly was. And as he looked towards the future, he did so with gratitude and humility, eager to make the most of the second chance he had been given. Lydia Prescott had traded her pursuit of sensationalism for a more meaningful existence, using her platform to shine a light on the stories that truly mattered. With a keen intellect and a compassionate heart, she had become a voice for the voiceless, advocating for justice and equality in a world that often seemed dark and unforgiving. As she continued her work, she knew that there would always be battles left to fight, but she faced them with unwavering resolve, knowing that she was making a difference in the lives of those who needed it most. And as she looked towards the future, she did so with hope and optimism, ready to continue her journey wherever it might lead.
In the silent gaze, I see the echoes of my days, but the image that shows is not the one that I